Hello, friends. Welcome to Bulldog Books. I'm Miss Sunshine, and we are going to start our reading off today with nonsense word practice. So remember how this works. You have 1 minute to read as many nonsense words as you can. If you get through the whole page before the end of the minute, go back and start over. Are you ready? Begin. Okay, readers, now's the part where you need to pause the video, go back and count the number of nonsense words you were able to read today. Then compare it with the number that you were able to read the last time I saw you. All right, let's take a look at our book for today. I like this book, and I bet you, Mrs. Marsh, would love this book as well. And I'm hoping we can read a few more of these books because these books are all about feelings. So, the title of this book is A Kid's Guide to Feelings. And this book, there's a couple in this series, but this book is about feeling afraid. The author's name is Christy Holmes. So, let's take a look at our first page. They introduce us on this page, number 4, to the characters in our book. So take a look at the different characters that we may come across as we read this book. We have Raging Raccoon, he's the one here in the middle. We have Captain Cheerful, he's a panda bear. Dr. Gloom, so he's kind of a downer, right? Then we have Green-Eyed Bunny and Agent Afraid. And Agent Afraid is this little koala friend over on the end. Now we're gonna learn more about Agent Afraid. And then we have Shrinking Violet, the little fox over here. Then the Lone Furball, that's a kitty cat. And last but certainly not least, his name is I can't read it. It's Craft Waitigator. Who knows? So these are the agents of feels, feeling every emotion like superheroes. All right, friends, let's take a look at page 5. You are going to read page 5 to me. Ready? Begin. And then let's Coral read this line at the very bottom. Sometimes we feel good. Other times we feel bad. Now, readers, on page 5, in that paragraph you just read to me, do you notice any text features that stand out? Did you notice the author has used bold text to point out some important words, emotions, and react? Okay, let's look at our next page. What time is it? It's bedtime. Okay, let's take a look. Read this box. And now let's read Agent Afraid's text bubble. So we know this character, Agent Afraid, is one that we need to be looking out for the rest of our book. Let's read page 7. Let's find out more. Okay, let's take a look. How do we feel when we're afraid? Read this first one to me. And this one. And now, let's read this green one up here. And let's read this speech bubble. Good job, readers. Now let's talk about how do we look when we're afraid? Whoops. Okay, read this first one. And this one. Can you raise your eyebrows? Open mouth, bitten nails. Let's read this box up here. What noise is this little boy making in his speech bubble? Eek! Good job. Let's look at this bubble all together. It says this is called body language. So the way we look when we're afraid, if we have wide eyes or raised eyebrows or shaking or open mouth, that's all of our body's language in communicating that we are frightened. Let's take a look at why do we feel afraid? Let's read the first speech bubble. And then take a look at these. This is kind of, I don't know if they're scary eyes. So people evolved fear. Evolved is a good word, a good vocabulary word. It means to grow or develop. And take a look at these different types of things that we developed. We developed the fight, shout, hide, run, and then take a look at this box up here. Survive. Ooh, so what sound is the snake making? Yes. Right, so the lady in this picture knows that there's danger or a threat, and she says, run away. So she's developed a healthy sense of what it means to be afraid. All right, so things that make us afraid. Let's see what different things can make us afraid. Oh, yes. If someone's mean to you, you might feel afraid. See what he says, hey, and then take a look at the look on this girl's face. Is her body language telling us how she feels? Or if you are alone, you might feel afraid. See how he says, oh no. And he says, eek, because he's afraid of this dog, but maybe it's real or maybe it's not something that we need to be afraid of. It says, when feeling afraid is good. Let's read this box. Avoid it. What does the word avoid mean? Yeah, it means to stay away from. So we have a dog in the yard here and a sign right here that says, beware of dog. The dog's speech bubble says, woof. And our main character says, I won't pet this dog, because that's a good feeling of being afraid. Like, I know this dog could maybe bite me, and so I'm not going to pet that dog. Let's take a look at this box. Take a look at this speech bubble. This is how Miss Sunshine feels. If your family is afraid of spiders, you might be too. And Miss Sunshine doesn't like spiders. She don't like them at all. When feeling afraid is bad, take a look over here. Nightmares aren't real, right? So we don't need to feel afraid. And they can stop you from doing things that might be fun. So if you're afraid of loud noises and your family wants to see fireworks, it might stop you from having fun. Let's take a look at page 19. And I agree. Let's read this sentence as a choral read. It's not nice to feel afraid all the time. Dealing with feelings. So Agent Afraid, remember our main character, needs to be brave. And I always tell my friends and my kids, being brave means you're afraid, but you do it anyway. So let's take a look at this box. Agents of Feels, go. Okay, first thing, if you're feeling afraid, read this step. Let's look at this speech bubble. Get a friend to hold your hand. Second step. And take a look at this one. Confront your fears slowly. Confront means to face them slowly. And let's read this speech bubble. Let's help. Read this one. Remember the steps. Our speech bubble down here says, I feel afraid. There might be a monster. So remember, we take a deep breath. We learn more about what it is that's scaring us. See how he's got his flashlight? It's not a monster, it's just Coco. And what is Coco? Yeah, Coco's another character in our book. It's a cat. And he says, good night. He's asleep. And read this last box. I hope you had fun reading with me about the feeling of fear. This is the glossary for our book. Here are all these different vocabulary words that we saw throughout our text that you maybe did not know the meaning of these different words. So the glossary is going to help you if you need to go back and review what a certain word means. If you're not sure where those words are, or if you're looking for a specific page or a word, then we look at our index at the very back, and it helps us to know where those words appear in the text. I had a great time reading about the feeling of being afraid, and I am going to practice the next time I'm afraid, taking a deep breath, confronting my fears slowly, asking for help from somebody that I trust, and learning more about those fears. I love you, bunches, little crunches. I'll see you next time.